Let's talk about the protests in Iran. They have to do with Mahsa Amini. If we can get a picture of her, I want to show everyone what she looked like. Here she is, a 22-year-old girl, prime of life. She's coming in from Kurdistan, a Kurdish part of Iran, visiting her relatives, traveling with her brother. She gets off, I believe, a bus station or train station, and is then arrested by the moral police for how she's wearing her hijab. She's got it on. She's trying to wear it. She's just, according to them, not wearing it properly. And within 2 hours, they have beaten her so severely. Here's the scan that was leaked. Hackers got into the hospital scans. They found a scan of her brain. And there you see the extensive damage caused, that she was beaten so severely and so many times that it caused her death. And then here's the unbelievable lie coming from the government that she had some kind of sudden heart attack in the police station. And they don't know why she collapsed. It had to do with some kind of medical condition. Well, the medical condition was they beat her to death. So now we're seeing protests inside of Iran. So how are these demonstrations now different from previous ones?
Yeah, I mean, it really just touches to the core of the entire nation, Gordon. I mean, just imagine, as you mentioned, you come to another city, you come to visit your family and your loved ones, and just because you're not completely veiled, that your hair is not completely covered. I remember several years ago being on the streets of downtown Tehran, interviewing this very young lady, very beautiful young lady, and because her scarf was over the middle of her head and she was showing so much of her front, a man just came from right behind, during our interview, came from right behind us and just yanked the scarf right over her head and in Farsi said, "You should cover your entire head." And this young lady, 21, 22 years old, shouted back at this man and says, "Don't you dare touch my hair. I can do what I want to do." And years later, this continued agony, this continued frustration in the midst of all the economic challenges that Iran is facing, this young lady, 22 years old, Amina, loses her life over a scarf and the fact that her hair was not completely covered. And today you're seeing the results and you see the images. It's quite dramatic. I mean, I've never seen this kind of images of Iranian men and women going to police cars, burning down a police station today, attacking police officers, those on motorbikes, hitting them. You can just sense the frustration and the anger that is palpable on the streets of Iran today over a very simple thing that seems so innocuous, but yet it is at the core of their culture. And today Iranians are fighting back. Remember, it's the granddaughters of the grandsons who are fighting against their grandparents, the mullahs, those who ushered in the 1979 Islamic Revolution. And they're saying, my goodness, please, why are people dying? Why are people being arrested over such a simple thing that seems so archaic?
We've seen protests before there. The Green Revolution was the most significant one. In that, the government unleashed their own military. They had snipers on the rooftops, and they started shooting people. Then they imposed an internet blackout throughout the country in order to stop organization. I'm hearing now that there's a power outage, that the government has shut off electricity. What's your prediction on this one? Do you think we'll see a change in the government, that finally the prayers of people around the world being answered, that this theocracy would be overthrown? Are we going to see that, or are we going to see more crackdown?
I got a message overnight from a source in Tehran, and this person said to me, "George, we are all alone, and we don't have weapons, we don't have guns, we have no way of fighting back. All we have is our heart and our hands." And the reality is that as you see these images of these brave young men and women attacking police officers, burning down government buildings, going after police officers, the crackdown is going to happen because it's inevitable. They've shut down the internet. WhatsApp is down. Instagram, which is very, very popular and has been allowed to thrive for quite some time, is off. They have no access to that. Twitter is also down. And so when you see these kinds of images, the response from the authoritarian regime, the leaders of the government, is to crack down and to crack down